The studio was silent, except for the faint hum of the overhead lights and the soft creak of the wooden floor beneath my pointe shoes. I had stayed late, hoping for some private practice, unaware that tonight would be nothing like the quiet ballet I had imagined. She was already there. My ballet mistress, tall, graceful, and impossibly commanding, stood at the bar, her black leotard hugging every curve of her toned figure. Dark hair pulled into a tight bun, eyes glinting with a knowing smile that sent shivers down my spine. "Still here, she asked, her voice low, teasing, wrapping around me like silk. "Yes," I whispered, trying to keep my voice steady, though my body was betraying me. My heart raced, pulses quickening with each step she took toward me. "I thought the studio was empty," I said. But she only smiled. "The studio is ours tonight," she replied. And with that, she stepped closer. Before I could react, she pressed me against the bar, her hands firm on my waist and shoulders. The cool wood under my fingers contrasted sharply with the warmth radiating from her body. I gasped softly as she leaned close, letting her presence engulf me. "You've been tense," she murmured, her breath brushing my ear. "I can help if you let me." Every movement she guided me through was deliberate. Her hands adjusted my posture, lightly pressing along my back, my arms, my sides, and each subtle touch made my muscles shiver. It wasn't just about stretching or correcting form, it was about awareness, control, and surrender. "Relax," she whispered, placing her hands lightly on my shoulders. "Feel every movement. Let it guide you." I obeyed instinctively. My body responded to her guidance, shivering, tightening, releasing. My focus shifted from the dance to the sensation of her near presence, her control, the intimacy in every instruction. "Good," she murmured. "Now lean into me. Let me guide you." As I followed her command, my heart raced. Her hands on my sides, correcting, guiding, adjusting, every inch of me felt alive. I realized that this private session was no longer about ballet. It was about desire, trust, and the thrill of surrendering to her touch. She guided me through a series of stretches I had never dared attempt, her hands lingering along my body, subtle enough to tease but firm enough to instruct. My mind spun with the boldness of the moment. Every pose, every adjustment, every whisper in my ear made it impossible to concentrate solely on the movements. "Feel that?" she asked softly, her lips brushing my ear. "That tension, that energy in you. That's what I want you to notice." "Yes," I whispered, breathless. "I feel it." A soft smile curved her lips. "Good. That's the first lesson." Her hands traced along my back and arms, correcting my form while igniting something entirely new within me. Every stretch became more than physical. It was a lesson in intimacy, control, and bold desire. Minutes, or hours, passed in a blur of guided stretches and whispered instructions. She pressed me closer to the bar, guiding my limbs, correcting posture, letting her hands linger just enough to make my skin tingle. My body shivered, taut with anticipation, each movement a reminder of her proximity. "Trust me," she whispered again, her hands on my waist. "I'm here to teach you everything you need to know." I let myself obey. Every fiber of me surrendered, my heart racing, my body alert, every breath synchronized with hers. The dance wasn't just physical anymore, it was seduction, instruction, and intimate discovery. Finally, she guided me into a deep stretch, hands pressing gently but firmly along my back, shoulders, and sides. Her eyes met mine, and I felt the intensity of her focus. "You're learning quickly," she murmured. "But there's one more lesson I want to give you tonight." I shivered with anticipation. Every nerve in my body was alive, every heartbeat thundering in my ears. I had never felt anything so bold, so intimate, so consuming. Her hands moved with precision, teaching me a pose I had never mastered. Each adjustment of my body, every subtle touch, made me acutely aware of her nearness, her control, the warmth and tension radiating between us. "I can show you more," she said softly, lips brushing my ear. "But only if you let yourself feel it every moment." I did. Every whispered word, Every guided stretch became a revelation. I was learning not just about ballet, but about trust, surrender, and the intoxicating pull of desire. Pinned briefly against the bar once more, I felt the height of the lesson. Her touch was deliberate, her guidance unrelenting, but never cruel, just bold, intimate, and mesmerizing. "Do you trust me?" she asked. "Yes," I whispered, breathless. Her smile was triumphant. "Good. That's the final lesson for tonight." Every inch of me was alive, every nerve tingling from her guidance, every thought consumed by the bold, intimate energy she had orchestrated. I realized I hadn't just learned ballet. I had experienced a private lesson in surrender, desire, and bold intimacy. The lights dimmed, our session ending, but the warmth lingered. She stepped back, brushing a loose strand of hair from my face. "You did wonderfully," she said softly. I smiled, still breathless. I never imagined ballet could feel like this. "Flexibility isn't just about your body," she murmured, her eyes glinting. "It's about trust, awareness, and letting yourself feel everything." I left the studio that night with my heart racing, knowing I would return. Not just for ballet, but for every bold, intimate lesson my ballet mistress could teach.